Hey Max here. So today we got Madden 23 gameplay for you. I'm gonna break down a bit of these blogs. I'm not really gonna go too in depth in them. You can read them yourself. I'll link them in the description. Got two of these things. I played the beta. I want to give like my initial impressions. I do want to talk about though these changes they talked about. Like first off, day one. My biggest issue with the game right now is it's pass coverage, right? Okay, pass coverage. So what I discovered, and this is through minimum testing, is when I throw cover three out there, wide receivers can run past cover three right now. It's kind of unfortunate. I wasn't able to get any completions because they kind of caught up, but like I think that's due for more testing. Deep thirds stay too flat-footed. It also leads to another issue because deep thirds and pass coverage has been tuned, right? Like they're talking about deep zone logic, drift behaviors, that kind of stuff. Because it's been tuned, they're reacting insanely well. Like I put out a tweet here, and I'll try and show it to you. Let me go to the face cam here. It's like a two-headed sword, right? They'll get run past, but they'll also be kind of insane on reactions. Like, okay, here's what I did. I apparently Twitter didn't love my drawing of it. So, do you see how Tom Brady right here has his hands barely apart? Okay, so I ran two streaks and a crosser underneath it, right? And this is the deep third playing deep third. So I got three vertical routes, three guys. You know, it's a cover one, sorry, but three vertical routes and double crosses right here underneath. And he is able to break on it as soon as the hands break. Like, do you know how quickly quarterbacks break their hands? And he knows I'm throwing it to this guy instead of the guys that are running vertical that are almost past them, right? So it's a little too psychic for me. And so what I was able to do then was like, well, if they're breaking on ball when the hands are breaking, okay, which is way too strong. It should be breaking on ball like up here-ish. In Madden 18, which was the insane zone year, the break on ball was right here, right? This is where they started to break, which was some of the most insane zone coverage you've ever seen. Now it's right here. That's when they're breaking. That's how insane 22 coverage is at the moment, okay? So that needs to be tuned down. But the thing is like, okay, with that, I was able to take advantage of that because like, oh, I pressed the button, hands are breaking, deep zones are breaking because they're so insane, and then I press the button again to pump fake, and then all of a sudden the deep zone's out of position and I can just lob it over his head for a one-play touchdown. So there is always counterplay to some of the over-tuned adjustments in this, and that's why I think break on ball needs to be tuned absolutely. It's way too strong right now for deep thirds. There is literally almost no way of throwing the ball downfield at the moment with how crazy zone breaks. Man coverage is absolutely insane, right? The pass leading system and the new pass leading system, which I think we'll talk about in the FieldSENSE, break on throw logic. Yeah, this is all just like zone stuff. It's all just fancy words of saying they've tuned zones to be stronger. Cover three breaking fast when a corner route enters their zone. Yeah, definitely breaking faster. They're playing corners and crossers better if there's no clear out. Even if there's clear outs, good luck. New end zone coverage logic, so they've improved defenders near the end zone. Remember how they used to like suck inwards and only go like a couple yards in the end zone, so you just throw a high point behind them and it's just easy scores every time, or just like have like a couple wide receivers on like smoke screens and then just run double crossers, and literally no zone in the cover game covered it. So they've improved that logic. DB catch versus SWAT got improved. It's a strange thing with gameplay, like in Madden 2016 through like 21-ish, and they turned back a little bit in 21, but Madden 16 through 20 was hard-coded, two-man interactions, balls on the field, right? Where interaction would play and the DB would kind of have the advantage. So, and well, 16 it was mostly wide receiver advantage, 17, 18, 19, 20, DB advantage. 21 had less of it, but it was still DB advantage. 21 had almost zero. There was a few double interactions where you can run into the wide receiver and knock the ball out. So they try to get away from two-man interactions with the passing game, and basically just guys animate together and then come down with the ball getting jarred loose. In 21, 22. Now 23, they've brought back those animations for better or worse, so it's going to be a lot harder to face catch on people like you were. You'll see a lot more breakouts and interactions, so it's unfortunate they've changed their kind of thought process year over year from 22 to 23. I don't think that was an issue in 22. I think they just need give defenses a little bit more control maybe. But I did not mind 22 as much. But it did get degenerate when people just like lofting up passes to you. So anyways, we'll see how it plays going forward. Pass rush. I did not try out a mobile quarterback, but I heard from a lot of people that it is very hard to scramble in the game. Not even with QB contains do a really good job, but like not even using QB contains. They do get off blocks, right? Like, do you remember in previous years, like, here's your quarterback, here's your defender, here's your offensive lineman, but the defender has to finish his animation before he can get off and go. That's no longer really the case this year, which is really nice. So pass rush, it's improved. Like, the only way I was able to find time in the pocket, like good time in the pocket, you can get some time in the pocket with a regular drop back. It is 100% play action. Now, to be fair, play action is the best plays in the NFL. Even when you don't have a strong running game, play action is like the highest value because you suck down linebackers, but it's a little different. Like, guys just don't shed as quick. I think you probably get another extra like half second to second in the pocket with a play action pass versus an actual just like drop back pass, which was it's different because play action passes used to be literally unusable. So now you can use play action rollouts that are pretty good too. So overall, like, play action, definitely something you want to take a look at in the gameplay. Rush lane integrity, most of the scrambling you'll see is going at the middle. So even though we got rush lane integrity, if you are getting scrambled upon, this is great because spies can handle that a little bit better. Quarterbacks are still pretty fast there, but at least the defense is smarter, which is all we really asked for. This is the disengage improvement that I just talked about. Blocking to bring more balance and authenticity, and a new pass block animations that work in combination with pass rush AI. You guys can go back and look at my last video about some known issues with pass rush and what's going on. Add-on blocks are discussed in the FieldSENSE note. We'll get to the FieldSENSE notes. Route runners, the running backs, like previous years, like last year, running backs were like the best receivers in the game, right? Angle routes against man coverage, in routes, out routes this year, arrow routes in the past. Now you can pass lead arrow routes a lot better, so that's really nice. But like overall, like if your running backs kind of go near the line of scrimmage, they will tend to chip somebody. So it's not as smooth getting out of the backfield anymore. I had one of my angle routes for the running back against man coverage get picked. A big issue with those escape artists, escape artists got 100% nerfed. It is now an X factor, FYI, instead of a superstar ability. So that is a big W for us. It's even clamped up a little bit, even on an X factor. So escape artists, we'll see what the trigger is, but that's a big W. That alone makes Madden 23 better than Madden 22. Football improvements, catching animations been added that no matter where you are, place the ball, do FieldSENSE skill-based pass mechanic, the appropriate catch will follow. Now, the skill-based passing mechanic, I feel like you sometimes can't lead it enough, and everybody's like, oh, we'll just use left trigger to leave it even more. It's kind of finicky, especially against man coverage, because man coverage does get like, it seems to close the gap on receivers that have a step on them really well because the pass isn't led far enough, so the receiver has to slow down just slightly enough. Like it's barely anything, but it's enough for the man coverage to get there. Now maybe I'm not leading it correctly. Maybe I need to lead better, newer stuff like more down and in instead of just straight across. I got to go down and across because if you lead it up and across, they'll definitely undercut you. On some of these, I'm talking about like crossers, angle routes, this kind of stuff. But like man coverage stuff, zone coverage is tough, pass rush is tough. As the game plays right now, it is very difficult to pass, which isn't bad, but I don't think running has changed much. I think some wide holes get open in the run game. So I just want to say good luck on Madden 23 not being a run game. I mean, Madden 23 beta is way ahead of Madden 22 beta. I don't know if I said that enough. Like, the foundation of this game is so much stronger than Madden 22. It's insane. Madden 22, you literally couldn't call cover 2. Cover 3 was, so easily bombed. It's insane. This game, it's going to be very hard to find one-play bombs, not just due to pass rush, but looks like zones, at least so far, until we find something, which we always do end up finding bombs. And then they'll patch them. It's kind of like cat and mouse. Which ones get patched, which ones don't. It's looking like it's a lot harder to bomb coverage now. For cover 2, cover 3. Match coverage is like off to start, and it's kind of weird. You can turn it on, but usually I turn it on because I like match coverage. Defense, they've streamlined the playbooks. I will say New England playbook looked almost no different for their big formations, right? A slot offset, trips tight end, pats Y off. I really didn't look at too much else in their playbook. Pittsburgh playbook looked no different either from that. So it's interesting to see some of them. Some of the things got renamed. Like 335 wide is like 3-3 cub or something now. So some of them just got renamed. It's like, slapping lipstick on a pig for some of the stuff. But overall, like, I want to see more plays, not less. So I don't like how they've said, oh, we've cut a bunch of things that weren't being used. Yeah, but can you just replace them with something that's kind of cool and useful? And like, all I need to make a play work, right, or a formation work, it's like a solid run or two, right? Give me a good outside run, stretch, power, a dive, you know, 0-1 traps are always nice to have, like different kinds of runs, and then like a unique route. And then I can kind of like model my offense around unique routes that are like hard to find, or that are different, that are unique, and then decent runs. And like it sucks that it doesn't seem like they're really focusing on that. Which, I mean, they're trying to make playbooks authentic to NFL teams, which, okay, that's something cool. The simulation people would rather have NFL teams, but like for like players that just want to play the game effectively, like we look for like unique routes. We look for things that we can kind of do to like get in sensitive spots of the defense. So we'll see. Yeah, they're focused on what teams actually do as it relates to the real life counterparts. I mean, at least could you make like the alternate playbooks more fun then? That's all I really want. AI quarterbacks got improved. I'd say that's true. I played a game against the Seahawks with Locke and played against the Green Bay with Rodgers, and the score was wildly different. It was wildly easier to stop Locke than Rodgers. Injuries, don't really care that much. Signature content, that's kind of nice. More of that. We also have the FieldSENSE here, gameplay. FieldSENSE, what is FieldSENSE? It's marketing, okay? Nothing else. Hit everything. All right, this thing definitely happened to me. So, you guys know the quick time events are back. You get into a guy, you hit A to get him off or whatever it is. But like one time I got into an animation with my wide receiver on like a defender. It was like they played like a spot drop cover 4. I threw it to the flat because the guy had like played back 10 yards, getting yards. Anyways, got into like engagement with one player. Another player rallied and actually caused a fumble on my wide receiver as using the motion tackle. This is not something I've seen in Madden. The fact that like the second man going for the strip, which is exactly what NFL teams teach defenders to do. If they're kind of caught up, punch the ball. Like TJ Watt's like giving people 6 pieces, trying to get the ball out, and you know, great. It's, you know, more authentic. So they said they got 3,500 new animations to give you control over impact, tackle, collision for more authentic outcomes. It is 100% noticeable. You'll see a lot of new tackles out there, for better or worse, right? Nice little graphics. Oh, hey, use that on my thumbnail this morning. Hit the pile. Same thing we were just kind of talking about with hit everything. Gang tackles. Consistently reward defenders for impact. So, I don't know. I'm a little worried about the fumble chances on this. Might have to run on conservative or something. Do they have the one cut down here? They do have the one cut on this, right? Skill-based passing. There's a lot of things. I was going to talk about the one cut. Yeah, 360 cuts. I'm interested to see what people find of it. It seemed okay to me. This is something I was excited about this morning. The cuts aren't overly fast or overly dramatic. So like it's a good way of shifting your momentum, but you're not going to really fake out a lot of people with it, which is maybe something they didn't want it to happen with 360s. Maybe I just was thinking more about that. Oh yeah, they got add-on blocks and stuff. Stand-up tackles. So this is more like the hit piles. So they add the same thing with blocks as the tackles. Mid-air knockouts. This is what I was talking about with animations, catching, which is, you know, a highly contentious subject in the Madden community. Branching and physics tests. Skill-based passing. This is the issue with, like, you know, the pass lead stuff. You can add left trigger to add more distance to your skill-based passing. It's something I get better with. Obviously, one day of using a new mechanic, you're not going to be good at it at all. And I could definitely tell I was throwing stuff where I wasn't, I guess I didn't know. Like, I was just doing pass leads like I normally do. And like I said, man coverage was wrecking me here. Target area, target reticle. Let me show you an example of that. It was like this Rodgers throw right here is what they're talking about with a skill-based passing. It should be right here. Okay, so there it is. All right, so this right here. Why does it keep doing that? All right, let me slow this down. Speed. I don't like how they just like cut it. It makes it very hard to follow along. All right, so we got like a, what is this, a play action rollout or something? All right, watch the comeback route. Do you see how he throws it? And it's right there. I will say under pressure absolutely still messes with your accuracy even when this is up. So he had like just a down on the left stick to put the ball right there on the accuracy. So comebacks beating man coverage makes sense to me. Perfect. We have another one right here where it was led completely upwards. So not a whole lot different from last year. More of like just telling you where on the field the passing is. And then you can obviously put it ahead of him with L2. Right here, again, the reticle where he got outside. What's interesting about this thing is like they were talking about like zone coverage and the end zone. And this is exactly what zone coverage, somebody tweeted this at me. This is exactly what zone coverage did last year. And why it was such a problem is they squeezed to the middle. It's literally what I was talking about. At least they're at the back of the end zone, I'd say. instead of being stuck like right here, they're at least further back, but you might want to be a little bit wider there, Chief or Colt. So, I don't know, a little frustrating overall with some of the issues still in the game. Freeform passing meter, skill bit. Not a whole lot of this. It's going to be important, but there's nothing I got to say about this more than I've already said. 360 cuts. This is exactly the same thing I've talked about with wide receiver. No, actually, well, there's some like new releases and presses. I didn't play press man, so I didn't really see the new releases and stuff a whole lot. That's the thing I got to look at going forward with the release move. So I have no talk on this, no way of knowing. I really don't play press man as a user, so I don't really look at it. Wide receiver cut moves and fakes. This is more for like squads, right? Yeah, I mean, this is like cool for squads, which is something I don't play. But it will be for that community without a doubt. The press and cuts and wide receivers getting open. I mean, like, dude, the fact that squads, like, the yards got AI out there, they got to agree to that. Because that could be so much, the yard would be so much better if it's just user versus user skill, like 2K, and there wasn't, like, bots out there. I don't want to play against the computer when I'm playing yard. But anyways, it just talks about the counter mechanics. Defensive evade. Get around blockers in the open field, creating a parity with ball carriers. Defenders can flick the right stick left or right to sidestep or avoid oncoming blockers. How do they know it's about avoiding oncoming blockers with the right stick and not throwing a hit stick right or left? If you hold right trigger and flick the right stick left or right, you'll cover more ground in your sidestep. Huh. That's interesting. I really worry about this being finicky. There's too many buttons. There's too many things going on the same buttons. So right, left stick, side to side is not a hit stick. Dude, if I throw a hit stick when I'm trying to avoid a blocker, I'll be a little salty because that blocker's just going to move up to the third level for my second level linebacker, and he's going to absolutely just wreck him, and then all of a sudden I just give him a touchdown instead of just running through the blocker. Yeah, we'll see how that plays too. No comment right there. Other things that I thought, Gunslinger got nerfed, sadly. I don't know why. Yeah, and I talked about everything else I talked about. All right, that's it for the video. Let me know what you guys think. Is Madden just the same thing over and over again? That was a big popular comment thread I got in my comment section this morning on those videos. Are you excited? I will, like I said during this video, Madden 23 beta is in such a better spot than Madden 22's beta. It's like not even the same game. It's not great. It's not perfect. But it is in a way better spot. It's so much easier to tune what's wrong with 23 than everything that was wrong with 22. So that's it. Thanks for watching Call to Action. I will see you tomorrow.